Okay, well, here I am again. I know that you might at this point be getting tired of just watching me talk on these videos, so I thought we'd make things a little more interactive this time. I have here a set of questions that you all have submitted, and I'm going to answer some of them if that sounds okay. So, what? Wait, no, I see some confused looks, and oh, you never submitted questions. You're wondering how I have these questions and how they possibly could be from you. Yeah, pesky details. Let's just get on with answering these questions. Here's the first one. It says, Dear Professor Zumbrunnen, so formal. You know, I really don't mind some informality, but I appreciate the respect. What is your favorite class to teach? That's actually pretty easy. My favorite class to teach is the first class in my subfield of political theory. It's Introduction to Political Theory. Just recently I've started teaching that class in a thematic format. We consider a series of big political ideas: truth, justice, happiness, power, freedom, equality, democracy. And for each of those we read what a set of different authors have to say about them. So we'll think about Plato on truth, and we'll also think about W.E.B. Du Bois on truth. And the idea is that students will, over the course of the term, be exposed to a lot of different ideas, and that though they may come in thinking that they know what happiness is, by the end of the term, often they're rethinking things, and that's just a lot of fun for me to watch. So that's that. Second question. Here it is. Okay, this one says, Hey Jay-Z. Yeah, I like it. Thank you. Go for the informality. Help me again with that kind of cultural connection that's maybe out of date. I don't know at this point. I just don't know. Anyway, here's the question. Can you expand on your last answer? At CRC, we care about liberal education. What does that course that you say you like so much have to do with liberal education? You all are amazing. I mean, how did this person know that that first question I would answer would have something to do with a course, and now they've asked me to tie it to liberal education? I'm so impressed. I really wish that I was with you in person. I mean, I probably went out kayaking this morning, and that was probably fun, but this is just great. So, Intro to Political Thought and Liberal Education. So for me, a course like Introduction to Political Thought offers one opportunity to do what a liberal arts education calls us to do in general, and that is to shift outside of our comfort zone. Again, in that course, I'm asking students to start out thinking about what they consider to be justice, or what they consider freedom to demand, and then to think about a lot of alternative perspectives, and to sort through those and to use those alternative perspectives to see if we can analyze contemporary political issues or problems. Sometimes I'll ask students to take on a particular perspective and argue from that point of view, even if they don't agree with it, right? And the idea, again, get us out of our comfort zone. I think a class like that, an institution like UW, a place like CRC, ought to be a space that's safe for people to take those kinds of intellectual risks, which are also personal risks, right? Because in that process of considering different perspectives and trying on different ways of looking at the world, right, we're pushing ourselves. And even if we don't change what we think, by the end of a course like that, and hopefully by the end of liberal education in general, you change how you think about things. So anyway, that's okay. Sorry, we had to cut and edit there. That last question, I started to ramble. I was talking about my dogs, my childhood. Kind of embarrassing. Let's get on to the third question. It is from Stephen, Joy, and Mike, the CRC leadership team. Hey, Stephen, Joy, and Mike, if you're there, good to see you. They say, Dear John, what's up with the hats? So they've noticed that I've worn a different hat for each of these videos. Let me try to answer. This hat I'm wearing because I've given up on the Milwaukee Brewers, and I've returned to my loyalty to the Kansas City Royals. They almost won the World Series last year, but I'm not a bandwagon jumper. I was there in '85, rooting for them in the World Series then. Hats. Other reason I wear hats, I'm a little self-conscious of the glare off my ever-expanding forehead. And then hats, different hats. I've worn 3 different hats. It harkens back to this really interesting comment I got in one of the first classes I taught when I looked at the student evaluations. This student wrote, I really liked all the different hats he wore in the classroom. Interesting, sounds positive. Have no idea what it means. I have never, and I mean never, worn a hat when I teach. Right? Just never do it, never have. And so I think the student was speaking metaphorically, but I'm not sure what it means. It's been 16 or 17 years since I got that comment. I'm still thinking about it, right? And here's the thing, working with students, especially in a good liberal arts environment, can be like that. It really is true that we faculty, if we're paying attention, learn from our students all the time. There's not a course goes by that I don't learn something, that a student doesn't say something about a text that I've taught 40 times, but I'm thinking differently about it because of some discussion with students. Or a student will say something that just flummoxes me, it just puzzles me. I can't really figure out what to think about it. And you know, even more than interacting with my dogs, those are the sorts of things that keep me going. And I think that those kinds of interactions with students, as we're all working together to think from different perspectives and get outside our comfort zone and think about who we are and reconsider what we think, I think all of that is what can really happen at a place like CRC. So that's today's big thought, and I'll see you again tomorrow.